to be able to help a couple that are in love.
Hello, welcome back to Let's Play Modded Skyrim. Last time we were wandering around and exploring everywhere. We went to our map and we explored a couple of forgotten settlements. So we walked all the way down here from Raven Nest and Black Reach, and we explored Darkwater Crossing, and we saw what the new mods had to offer. Of course, we next considered we wanted to go to Whiterun. However, we couldn't find a carriage to do so, so we are considering now going to Windhelm, and on the way we can explore Blue Pond and see what else is up this way. We ignored Mistwatch. But last time we did have a woman running away from Mistwatch saying that you should help us out, you can be a hero and rescue everyone else in Mistwatch. But no, I'm not doing that. I can't be bothered to do that.
Isn't very likable either.
Look at them, wasting electricity, having the lights on during the day.
Can I come with you to Aston Grey? Pretty please.
Yes.
It sounds so exciting.
Yes, you
And I'm
can.
sure I could be very useful for you.
Yes, you can. Right, okay, so this is very... I almost feel like I'm being pushed along a certain path. What's going on?
I think we should hurry to Aston Grey.
Something's going on. He doesn't look very good. Someone's trying to charge up to me. Let's take out my sword blade. It's a Khajiit.
Hail, brother. I saw you walking there and I thought you might need this. Good luck out there.
Oh, that's so good. He gave me 5 lockpicks. I thought he was going to try and kill me and I was going to kill him.
She often goes there to visit a friend who owns the Hag's Cure.
I guess if he... Wow, that was really nice. Either that's because you're in a thieves guild or just because I'm a Khajiit. I can't tell which, but yes, thank you very much, Khajiit. That was really cool. Let's see what this Khajiit wants.
Maik's father was also called Maik, as was Maik's father's father. At least, that is what his father said.
Maik the liar. Talk to me.
Maik knows much and tells some. Maik knows many things others do not.
Well, tell me something. Tell me something, Maik.
Is
I
tired
do
now.
hope
Go
we
bother
find
somebody
coffee
else.
can-
Oh, rubbish.
I wonder what I think about
He's so cute. I think I remember coming down this way. This is Mixwater Mill. Someone could build a town here, if they haven't already, of course.
Interesting outfit you are wearing today, Lydia. Was it your own idea to put it on?
This one needs something?
Thiefy. Hang around here. Just gonna have a quick look around Mixwater. Of course, last time we did a quest for a villager here. We could make some wood. I don't really want to do that. Hello, chicken.
Elvish armor is the best, I think. Especially for a
I
girl.
really need to find a bed soon. Get tired so easily. Better get to Windhelm soon. What's my encumbrance like? Not too good, bad. 171 I'm carrying, so I can last a little bit longer. Worker's house. Let's see if there's a bed in here. This guy has to sleep a hell of a lot. Free gold. Free food. Free mead. Free potions.
So where are we going now?
I'm gonna steal all these free potions, Vilja. Have a quick sleep. Let's have a 6-hour sleep. Fortunately, it doesn't really bother me whether I sleep night or day. But yes, we are heading to Windhelm. I was going to have a quick talk about Windhelm. I'll just finish up eating because I can't eat and concentrate on the same time. Lots of eggs. Oh, there's so much good stuff in here. Yes, I was saying very briefly before that... Oh, let's eat this bread first. Bread. Drink some mead. These workers don't keep this place in very good condition. I've eaten too much already. There's a pheasant on the floor. Yeah, what I was going to speak about, I was going to talk very briefly about Windhelm and how after... I always have difficulty pronouncing this name. Wysgramor? After Wysgramor, let's call him, came from Atmora. He founded the city of Sarthor, which we'll find about later. But for some reason, of course, that we'll discuss later, Sarthor was completely destroyed by the Snow Elves, and only Wysgramor and his sons escaped. They went to Atmora and told, as a saber cat, I will have to use a bow on this guy. Saber cats have been a bane of my existence. Go for it, Lydia. Lydia can take it. Okay, we got you. If I look at Lydia, she's not even injured.
Have you heard any interesting rumors of...
Got 3 pelts now.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
When I was
Wysgramor
living in
went to
Solitude, I used to
Atmora
give
and
this var-
told everyone
beta
that the
stock
Snow Elves were
as many
completely
sweet
evil, and
draws as I
obviously
could afford.
they were
Poor
quite
thing. She
angry at
really
Atmora
hates
about the
fish.
Snow Elves, so 500 companions came down
I don't know.
and they
Anything else?
slaughtered
You know,
all the
I
Snow
very
Elves,
much
and they
doubt
went
that
around
one will ever
Skyrim
retire
slaughtering them
Severin
all.
into a
And once
soldier.
they'd slaughtered
I
enough
think it's really
in
her
Skyrim,
baby.
they went
She won't
all the way
ever
to
grow big.
Solstheim and started slaughtering the rest of them.
Indeed.
And of course,
about
then
you?
some of them
Have
went
you heard of
underground. Some of the
interesting
Snow
gossip
Elves, of
lately?
course, went underground, and
I
they
can't
became the
remember.
Falmer.
Don't be silly. You must have
What
never
happened
heard something
to
or something.
Wysgramor afterwards is that they
Everyone
didn't go
has.
back to Southall, they didn't try to
I'm
rebuild
not
it.
sure that it's news, but
Instead, they decided... I couldn't find Blue Pond. I didn't see Blue Pond. Never mind.
it
Okay.
seems like every blacksmith in Skyrim is out to prove that he's the equal of Yorland Greymane.
I'm just going to have to see where we are going. We're going in the right direction.
It's not really a fair comparison if you ask me. After all, Yorland works the Skyforge. How is any smith going to compete with that?
Yes, so they say.
I'll not argue that.
A bit more of cool dialogue from those guys. But yes, instead of going back and rebuilding Sarthal, they left that abandoned. I guess that's fair enough because it had a load of dead bodies in there and they don't want to be reminded of that. They built
Oh,
a
I
new
do
city,
hope
and
we'll find
that
coffee
city
apparently
was
for an
Windhelm, and
illustrator.
Windhelm
I
became
wonder where
the
football
capital
farm is
of
came
the
from. It might be a
First
good place to
Empire. First Skyrim Empire. Don't confuse that. Don't confuse that with the First Imperial Empire. These things are two very different things. The Palace of Kings that's in Windhelm is supposed to be the
weird.
original, one of the first original buildings and only original buildings that are standing from the First Empire. So right now we have Windhelm, which is this ancient city. now presided over by
Maybe we could head over to the Kandahar
Ulfric
and listen to the
Stormcloak,
Bard's
who's
music.
now the leader of the Stormcloaks. Here's a carriage we could use. Hello? How far in?
Need a ride?
Now you see we get an option to visit a small
Where do you
town.
want to go?
We can visit Iverstad, Rorikstead, Riverwood or Dragonbridge. Of course Darkwater Crossing was not on that
That's fine.
selection.
I can take you to any of the hold capitals. Where do you want to go?
Going to places costs 50 gold or 20 gold. 20 gold for Riften. This is cheap for a taxi, I've got to say. 50 gold for 20 gold for a Whiterun, that's a bargain. 50 gold for Winterhold. Well, we'll have a little explore in this old city anyhow. Windhelm Stables.
Hermin's Stronghold, the blacksmith, is
We
probably the
can
most
take-
enthusiastic
We can
Stormcloak
go into
I
the
have
guard
ever
quarters this
seen.
way. It's snowing indoors for some peculiar reason. But we are going into here. Down into the guard quarters, which is blizzarding indoors. Mainly because of this one book called Ice and Chitin. It actually is a light armor book if you can use it. Of course I cannot because of the skill capping mod. And yeah, it's a light armor book and it improves your light armor. So what it tells of, it dates to year 855 of the Second Era, after Talos had taken the name Tiber Septim and begun his conquest of Tamriel. One of his commanding officers, Betia, has been surprised in an ambush while returning from a meeting with the Emperor. She and her personal guard of 5 soldiers barely escaped and were separated from their army. They fled. The attack had been so sudden they had not even the time to don armor or get to their horses. If we can get to Gorvig Ridge, hollered Lieutenant Ascatus, we can meet the legion you stationed in Poorbank. Betia looked across the craggy landscape and shook her head. Not that way, we'll be struck down before we make it halfway down the mountain. You can see the horse's breath through the trees. She directed her guard towards a ruined old keep on the frozen isthmus of the Nerone, across the bay up from Gorvig Ridge. Jutting out on a promontory of rock, it was like many other abandoned castles in northern Skyrim, remnants of Riemann Cyrodiil's protective shield against the continent of Akavir. Now that makes sense. That makes sense now. As they reached their destination and made a fire, they could hear the army of war chiefs of Danstra behind them, making camp on the land southwest. The soldiers assessed the stock of the keep, while Betia looked out to the fog-veiled water. She threw a stone, watching it skip across the ice, before it disappeared with a splash into a crack in the surface. So anyway, this army, for some reason, was marching after Betia. No food or weaponry to be found, Commander. Lieutenant Ascatus reported. There's a pile of armour in storage, but it's definitely taken on the elements over the years. We won't last long in here, Betia replied. The Nords know that we'll be vulnerable when the night falls, and this old rock won't hold them off. Well, there's only 5 of you, 6 of you. If there's anything in the keep we can use, find it. We have to make it across the ice floe to the ridge. After a few minutes of searching and matching pieces, the guards presented 2 grimy and scuffed crack suits of chitin armour. Even the least proud of adventurers and pirates who had looted the castle over the years had thought the shells of chitin beneath their notice. The soldiers did not dare to clean them. The dust looked to be the only adhesive holding them together. They won't offer us much protection, just slow us down, grimaced Ascatus. While anyone who can plan and execute an ambush like the war chiefs of Danstra will be expecting that, we will need to move quickly now before they're any closer. Betia drew a map, and then a map of the bay in the dust, and then a semicircular path across the water, an arc stretching from the castle to the Gorvig Ridge. The men should go the long way across the bay, like so. The ice is thick, there a ways from the shoreline, and there are a lot of rocks for cover. You're not staying behind to hold the castle? Of course not, Betcha shook her head and drew a straight line from the castle to the closest shore across the bay. I'll take one of the chitin suits and try to cross the water here. If you don't see or hear me when you made it to land, don't wait. Lieutenant Ascatus tried to dissuade his commander, but he knew that she would never order one of her men to perform a suicidal act of diversion. It was finally he could only find one way to honour his duty to protect his commanding officer. It was not easy convincing Betty that he should accompany her, but at last she relented. So 4 people escaped. The sun hung low, but still cast a diffuse glow, illuminating the snow with a ghostly light. When the 5 men, 1 woman, had slipped through the boulders beneath the castle to the water's edge, Betty and Ascatus moved carefully, painfully aware of each dull crunch of chitin against stone. At their commander's signal, the 4 unarmoured men dashed towards the north across the ice. When her men had reached the first fragment of cover, a spiral of stone jutting a few yards from the base of the promontory, Betty turned to listen for the sound of the army above. Nothing but silence. They were still unseen. Ascatus nodded, his eyes showing through the helm, showing no fear. The commander and her lieutenant stepped onto the ice and began to run. I don't know why they couldn't just run for it anyway. I suppose they've got horses, but horses surely couldn't run across ice. Anyway, when Betty surveyed the bay from the castle, the crossing to the shore had seemed like a vast, featureless plain of white. Now she was down on the ice, it was even more flat and stark. They were utterly exposed. It almost came as a relief when Betty heard one of the war chief scouts whistle a signal to his masters. They didn't have to turn around to see if the army was coming. The sound of galloping hooves and the crash of trees giving way was clear over the whistling wind. Betty wished she could risk a glance to the north to see if her men were hidden from view, but she didn't care. She didn't dare. She could hear Ascatus running to her right, keeping pace, breathing hard. He was used to wearing heavier armour, but the chitin joints were so brittle and tight from years of disuse, it was all he could do to bend them. The rocky shore to the ridge still looked an eternity away when Betty felt and heard the first volley of arrows. Most struck the ice at her feet, but a few nearby found home, ricocheting off her backs. She silently offered a prayer of thanks to whatever anonymous shellsmith, long dead, had crafted the armour. They continued to run as the first rain of arrows quickly followed by a second and a third. Well, that is decent light armour. Of course, if I shoot anyone with armour with my bow, they just immediately... It goes through iron, my bow and arrow. Thanks, Stendar, Ascatus gasped. If there was only leather in the keep, we'd be pierced through and through. Now, if it weren't so rigid. Betty felt her own armour joints begin to set. Her knees and hips finding more and more resistance with each step. There could be no denying it. They were drawing closer to the shore. She heard the first dreadful galloping crunch of the army charging across the floe towards them. The riders were cautious on the slippery ice, not driving their horses at full speed, but Betty knew that they would be upon the 2 of them soon. The old chitin armour could withstand the bite of a few arrows, but not a lance. The thunder of hooves was deafening behind them when Ascatus and Betty reached the edge of the shore. They could not stand still, run forward, nor run back, because the ice sighed and crackled. Straining against the tired metal in their armour joints, they took 2 bounds forward and flew at the boulders. The first landing on the ice sounded an explosive crack. When they rose for the final jump, it was in a wave of water, so cold that it felt like fire through the thin armour. Ascatus' right hand found purchase in a deep fissure. Betty gripped with both hands, but her boulder was slick with frost. Faces pressed to the stone, they could not turn to face the army behind them. Behind they heard the ice splintering, the soldiers cry out in terror for just for an instant. Then there was no sound but the whining of wind and purring lap of water. 4 guardsmen had crossed the bay. There were the 2 to pull Betty up from the face of the boulder, another 2 for Ascatus. They strained and swore at the weight, but finally they had their commander and the lieutenant safely on the edge of Gorvike Ridge. By Mara, that's heavy for light armour. Yes, smiled Betty, looking back over the empty broken ice floe. But sometimes that's good. Oh, I don't quite understand. I don't understand that. Anyway, that was quite a cool book. It's a skill book. We'll take that.
You haven't forgotten about the book I need, have you? Tamriel Flora Illustrated.
Tamria Flora Illustrated. Okay, we will look for it. We will enter Windhelm. This place is really cool. What it could do with, some houses along here. Well, you know, a market, just like Whiterun Market. It could do with not being permanently snowy. It's supposed to be the snowiest place in the Empire. But still, it's too snowy for me.